Jerry, our last relationship we're going to talk about is the relationship with the world at large, friends, your network, social capital. I think this is a very understated part of someone's financial success because I think that people oftentimes take connections for granted, and not just the friends that you have, your peers. But one of the things I think people do is they overlook the relationships with both people above and below them, whether it's mentoring younger people or finding older people to be mentored. But they have this very narrow social circle, and I think that their spirit and their finances and their career can suffer by not casting a wide enough net.
I kind of think it's similar to, well, first of all, no doubt the kind of a network of solid connections will help you be successful in business for sure. Um, I think that to not, and not to mention how much it helps you in your overall interpersonal relations with people to be outward looking. It kind of reminds me of, and what I mean by outward looking, it reminds me of the 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 way business can and should and really is approached. Like entrepreneurship is not what can I do that I can build that can bring me some great financial reward, but our friend George Gilder has talked about this. Every entrepreneurial endeavor begins with somebody saying, "What can I create that others want or need?" So it's outward thinking in that respect, and in that with that kind of thinking comes great successful business ideas and business in general. Same thing with developing relationships via a network or your connections in business is not be thinking about, well, I need to belong to this club and this board and that board because of what it will do for me from a business standpoint, but more, how can I help this other guy? The people who really have successful connections and a successful network are people that are outward thinking. They're not, yeah, it's a little bit like what we were talking about in the first segment. To be outward looking and not putting yourself first necessarily will ultimately come back to you in the form of rewards in your business. Because if your first thought in a networking kind of relationship is, or if your first, better yet, forget the thought, that comes first, okay, but then the action is to physically interact with somebody, to learn about what they do, and genuinely make them believe because it's true that you're trying to help them. Tell me about your business, and how might I be able to help you in what you're trying to do or what you're trying to call, whether it's a business or a nonprofit or whatever it might be. I think that that's something that people I've seen who have been really successful with networking. That's how they do it. And that I think that keeps you honest. It keeps your soul in line with what's right, and ultimately ends up coming back to you tenfold or hundredfold with respect to you're thinking of them first, and somewhere along the line, what's going to happen is they're going to think, wow, somebody wants to have this particular service or product. I know Doug, who's in that business. I'm going to have this person go talk to Doug because Doug's a good guy. He's helping me in my business, and here's a way for me to help him. I think that that's something that maybe is not as understood out there in the networking world. Oftentimes, it's more about, I just got to go meet people, push my card in front of people, and what have you.
You've got to play the long game with that. And Jordan Peterson has some excellent advice. One of the reasons he's so critical of the millennial progressive mindset is that there's this tendency to save the world when your own house isn't in order. So that being said, that I think that needs to underpin the advice I'm about to give. But sometimes the best thing you can do to take care of yourself, paradoxically, is to look after the interests of others and to help them out. and without thought as to how you're going to immediately gain.
That's exactly what I'm saying about
Yep.
entrepreneurship. I mean, you can't have a business unless you're thinking about what it means. I don't know that any business has been successful by being completely inwardly focused. I don't know how that would work. Whether it's a service or a product, you're building a product that other people are going to need and want. And as George Gilder also has said, profit is the index of altruism. So the more profit you make, the more you're actually helping people to do what it is that they want and need to do. So for sure, that can be translated into building community, building connections. The term connections and networking, it almost has a negative connotation, but you turn that into the reason you're doing this is to just be a valuable citizen of the world, if you will. Or let me correct myself on that. A valuable citizen in the world, not of the world.
Makes sense. Any other party thoughts, Jerry, as we get out of here? We're coming up on half an hour.
No, that's good. I think we've touched the right topics.
All the meta lessons you need to learn for success in 2024. Please remember to go view our website, taylorfrigon.com, also Instagram, taylorfrigon.invest. Our email is longonly@taylorfrigon.com, and you can find us on YouTube as we get our channel up and running there. Please like and subscribe if you're viewing this there.
And
Merry Christmas, of course. And until next week, I'm Doug.
I'm Jerry.
Thank you for joining us on the Long Only podcast. Also, the next time you hear this, Jerry will probably be a grandfather. Well, yeah. So prayers for that. He's already a grandfather, but you know what I mean, actually. Out of the oven. So prayers for that, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.